Hello, this video is not sponsored. I bought this Zuru Max Dino Adventure T-Rex attack set for $22 US from Walmart. These things are very popular at Walmart. You can also get them through Walmart's online website. I've seen some at Target and also some on Amazon. The retail price for this I've seen range from $20 to $25, and it comes with 284 pieces with this giant egg container for it. The finished set itself is a lot more conventional than the packaging. You get a semi-rig that has a tractor and trailer combo, a very brightly colored T-Rex over here, and a little accessory communication station. First off, the T-Rex is unfortunately a little bit on the shiny side. It takes away from the believability of it. Not that the bright orange color helps it out at all. I like the fact that the default pose with the legs has it looking like it's actually moving. You can see some hollowness back here that it just kind of shows a little bit of something that they did to keep the price down. But from most angles, you don't see that. And it doesn't feel light. It doesn't feel particularly flimsy or anything. It feels fine. Just what I like least is just the shininess of the plastic here, but the prints are pretty good. The white is very opaque there. You can rotate the tail around here. You can move the legs. You already saw that I was able to make it go up or make it go down like this. The front legs are also able to move a little bit. You can hook something into those, and then the jaw opens and closes. Got nice coloration in here, which is actually a separate piece that's pre-inserted. So the teeth are a separate piece. Teeth are a separate piece here to make sure that they're a different color. They're also very slightly translucent. There's a little bit of subsurface scattering in there, so it makes it, I don't know, it just has a certain realism to it. And you can rotate this around and also bring it up and down. So all those things can be done with it. Here's how it scales relative to a standard minifigure. This set does not come with any figures. I don't think I've seen any Zuru Max sets that do come with figures. And for the sake of scale, also, this is probably what you're more used to in brick-built dinos. So the Zuru Max one is just a little bit smaller than the de facto standard. Not by a lot, but by enough to make it, a difference in something that's worth pointing out. Again, I really appreciate the fact that this is in kind of a walking pose compared to what we've been used to for the longest time of just static. And if you want to put this into a walking pose, well, it doesn't really work well because it's just going to fall over. Nope. The truck has a very beefy off-roady kind of look to it, and with the big tires and all that ground clearance under there, you definitely can drive this over some rough surfaces and like high pile carpeting and stuff, and it's not going to get stuck. But this definitely did feel like it was cutting some corners with the build in order to keep the parts count down. The biggest corner cutting potentially that could be argued is with the trailer itself, but there were some areas of the build of the main truck that felt just a little bit flimsy until it all came together. They do have some interesting part variations, such as this guy right here, this 1x2 by 2/3. It's an interesting shape. They did a similar thing with the 2x2 by 2/3. Again, this is just a separate thing. I actually had trouble fitting it into the container. You kind of have to fold it up and it just barely works in there. It doesn't really have a good place to live, and also it's not completely flat on the underside, so you kind of have to imagine these being wheels, and then it's not going to attach directly to something like there. It doesn't actually attach. It needs just one more layer of plate to be able to connect to things more effectively. This does use stickers. I'll show you the remainder of the sticker sheet at the end here. These are interesting. Here, the side view mirrors, it's just an interesting different shape. You can open up the doors. They've got an extra clip on either side to hold on to some minifig accessories. If you have some of your own, or if you want to use these little staves under here, it's like a missile, but you can also use it as a staff. Again, if you had your own figures, this is designed to hold just one figure in the center with the, it doesn't really have a proper seat in there, but the steering wheel is centered. And then over on this side, you've got just a fire extinguisher attached already on there. You can pull this off and you can see what's left behind. So, again, this is fine. And it does this, in spite of the fact that it's very hollow underneath, it does feel pretty strong. However, this is very, 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 very hollow and very, very lightweight because it is made from mostly specialized pieces. And you can probably start to see those right now. Like all of this front part is one piece. Most of the side is one piece. Most of this side is one piece. These parts get added on, and then there are just stickers on each of those. This is actually a standard door-sized window piece that's inserted horizontally, so that's kind of nice. And you do put these tiles here You do add these rails, which are unique. I haven't seen that shape before in there. You do have the little stand that will come down, so this can be left on its own. But the biggest disappointment here is the inside. There's nothing. See, it's completely empty. So you can carry stuff with it. That's, there's value here, but just not as much as I would like. Now, I do appreciate that this can hinge open here as well. So you get much easier access to the interior again. Like I said, with this, I wanted it to, it was the height. That's what, I lied. I must have done something wrong when I tried putting this together before. Maybe I tried to put it too far forward, but no, that actually works just fine. Maybe I had these out or something. At any rate, that must have been it. I must have had these out. Yeah, you just have to fold it in, and then it works just fine. So at least you can store that. At least you can carry that around in there. It does have a place. But if you want to carry the dyno, that really doesn't work all that great. Let's try it this way. This is about the best you're going to do. Bring the back up. See, the toes are kind of getting in the way right now, and the tail isn't quite able to get out of its own ways. So, this is a common play pattern. This is very, very often shown in toys. You capture the dinosaur, that's out on the loose and bring it back to safe containment, and that's just not really happening here. I can, however, take the rest of this off entirely and then kind of do one of these things. Now that is going to work, but the top isn't really holding it, or the sides aren't really holding themselves together, because the sides do rely on this roof to kind of lock everything in. So, ultimately, yeah, look at this. See, it's starting to fall off. So not the greatest use there. Last thing I can do is bring this around this way. Just don't even worry about the tailgate just hanging around. But again, it's just not the best. Pairing these things together, that's, yeah. The sticker sheet was actually kind of cool to me at first, because I didn't recognize the look of it with the completely clear backing, but otherwise it's fairly standard fare, and the adhesive is fine and everything. And I found also that most of these are completely optional. You really don't need to put these on to have the whole rig look just fine. But again, I paid $22 US for this. The highest I think I've seen it was about 25. Oh, I forgot to mention the bull bar here. It's also a part that I haven't seen before. But $25 is the approximate retail value of one of these. I don't mean on the aftermarket, but the retail value of a dyno of this size from the leading brand in one of their sets, like in context. Adding one of these adds more than $20 to the retail price of a given set. And here you get a slightly smaller dyno than that, with a little bit nicer pose, probably better printing, I would say, in general, but you also get a whole truck. Now, the truck doesn't do a lot, obviously. You need to bring some things to the table to get good use out of that. And it is unfortunate that the dyno doesn't really work inside of there. But again, you do get all of that almost for free when you pay for one of these. And you notice I didn't say anything about part quality, because there's not really anything to say, in my personal opinion. Part quality is just perfectly fine. I just didn't have any issue with the parts themselves. Clutch power is fine. Fit and finish is fine. Color matching is fine. It's not a cheap knockoff style of brand. This, from what I've experienced so far with Zuru Max, they actually do respectable stuff, respectable products at ridiculously low prices. So all in all, I think that this is a win on the value end. And by the way, check this out. This is the little amber piece that came on the packaging. Has a suggestion of a mosquito there. This doesn't open up or do anything else. These are studs, but they don't really work, and there's no stud on the bottom. It's just a little separate thing. So it doesn't really add any value there, but I figured some folks would be interested in that. Yeah, overall, really incredible value. It's no wonder that Zuru Max stuff is selling so well at Walmart's from what I've heard. And I just realized that I might have put one of these on upside down. Did I? One of these stickers upside down, or at least different from side to side. But do beware that, if you buy this and gift it to a kid and they don't have any brick-built stuff, they're going to be a little bit disappointed and a little bit lacking in play, because there are no figures and because the truck has nothing on the inside. So this is more of better for an add-on to a kid who already has an existing collection that they're starting to to build up so that they can mix and match as opposed to a starter. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that this brought some value to you as a video. If you would like to support what I do, please consider using an affiliate link if you're going to make a purchase of anything. Down in the video description, I can get just a tiny little commission back, and it costs you nothing. And that's what I like the most. You lose nothing, and I gain just a little bit to help me to continue to buy these sets to then bring more value to you. It's a pretty good cycle. Thank you for watching again. I'll talk to you soon.